Hollywood once stamped his career over. A comedian written off, pushed out, and left hanging at the edge of the industry like he didn't matter. They tried to box him in, silence him, and move on without him. But fast forward to 2025, and Katt Williams is living a life most Hollywood elites only whisper about behind closed doors. Massive multi-million-dollar mansions, apocalypse-ready supercars parked like trophies, diamond jewelry so loud it sparkles before he even speaks. Katt Williams once said it straight, "Never look up my net worth." But the harder he pushed people away from the numbers, the more obsessed they became. Because the truth is wild. This is the same man who once slept on park benches, the same man who faced arrests, lawsuits, and non-stop headlines trying to tear him down. And yet today, his wealth makes entire rooms go silent. So how rich is Katt Williams really? Where does the money come from? And why does a man who refuses to play by the system's rules keep winning anyway? Step directly into the real luxury world of Katt Williams in 2025. Watch closely, because this isn't just about money. This is about power, survival, and a man who never bowed his head. Born in 1971 in Cincinnati, Ohio, Michael Williams entered the world. Raised in a Jehovah's Witness household, his upbringing was strict, disciplined, and heavy with rules. No shortcuts, no excuses, no softness. Everything in that house was locked into structure. Belief came before individuality, and questioning authority was not allowed, not even a little. But Michael Williams was wired differently from the jump. At an age when most kids were barely piecing sentences together, Michael was already reading fluently at around 3 years old. Not stumbling, not guessing, reading. That kind of intelligence made adults nervous. A child who could think for himself was seen as a threat, not a gift. By 13 years old, while most American kids were stressing over homework and chores, Michael made a move nobody saw coming. He legally emancipated himself from his parents. This wasn't some runaway story, no sneaking bags out at night, no drama-filled escape. It was cold, calculated, and final. Protection was cut off, safety was gone. From that moment on, Michael Williams stopped being a child and started surviving like an adult. The drifting years came fast. No money, no degree, no support system. He sold goods on the street just to eat, slept on park benches, and bounced across the country until he landed in Florida. But life on the streets brings constant attention. His teenage years were stacked with police encounters, mostly minor charges and disorderly conduct. Those moments stayed on record forever. This wasn't a glamorous struggle, this was survival mode, and Michael Williams was learning the streets early. No classroom could ever teach him how to read people. Michael learned the real lesson early. Everybody has fear. Everybody has pressure points. And laughter, that's the fastest way to crack someone wide open. Stand-up comedy didn't come to Katt Williams as some cute artistic dream. It came as a survival tool, a weapon to control the room before the room tried to control him. The real shift happened when he joined a traveling circus. This wasn't some friendly open mic with polite claps. These were small, smoky comedy rooms packed with loud, unforgiving crowds, ready to boo you off the stage without mercy if you slipped once. That pressure forged him. Every joke had to hit. Every pause mattered. That brutal grind sharpened his instincts fast. That's when Michael Williams faded out and Katt Williams was born. Katt wasn't just telling jokes to get laughs. He broke down society, religion, power, money, and hypocrisy right in people's faces. It wasn't comfortable comedy. It made people laugh and squirm at the same time. That edge separated him from everyone else. By the late 90s, clubs were filling up fast. Then the stages got bigger, the lights got brighter, and the crowds got louder. From 2006 forward, Katt entered full breakout mode. Multiple stand-up specials across Netflix, HBO, and Comedy Central. Not a one-hit moment, but a non-stop run. According to Katt himself, a small show could pull in around $100,000 a night, and a Netflix special could reach close to $10 million. In an industry where most artists trade freedom for contracts, Katt Williams went the opposite direction and didn't blink. While others waited for approval, Katt put his own money on the line. He invested about $22,000 of his own cash to create his first stand-up special, The Pimped Chronicles Part 1, with a total budget of just $25,000. No major network, no HBO, no Comedy Central, just raw confidence and full control. That special didn't just land, it exploded. In black communities, it became a cult classic almost overnight. People passed it around like a secret weapon. That move laid the foundation for Katt's independent empire, one built on ownership, not permission. From there, the money kept flowing for decades. Sold out tours, no Hollywood leash, no suits telling him what to say or how to act. Fast forward to today, and Katt Williams is still outside, still winning. His Dark Matter tour is filling theaters across the country, from Atlanta to Chicago, Los Angeles to New York. Each night, he hits venues holding anywhere from 3,000 to over 10,000 seats. And the key detail, those tickets sell out regularly. With prices averaging $120 to $150, a single sold-out night can pull in $400,000 to over $1 million in gross revenue. What changed is the audience. His fans aren't just from the old days anymore. Thanks to viral clips on TikTok and social media, Gen Z is locked in. They're discovering Katt not as nostalgia, but as the one saying what others are scared to say. And only after Katt stood firm on his own stage did Hollywood finally look up. In 2002, Katt stepped into film with Friday After Next, a light continuation of the franchise, yet somehow the most unforgettable presence wasn't the lead role. It was a skinny man in flashy clothes, saying things nobody else dared to say. At that time, Katt Williams didn't even have a home. He was living out of his car. No safety net, no comfort. His rough, street-worn look didn't match Hollywood's polished standards at all, but that rawness became the moneymaker. Money Mike felt dangerously real. Nothing fake, nothing overproduced. Most of the dialogue was improvised. Katt wrote it himself. He broke the rhythm on purpose. Hollywood couldn't control him. They could only catch the moment before it slipped away. The result, Friday After Next pulled in over $33 million in domestic box office. And just like that, Money Mike became a full-blown pop culture icon. Overnight, Hollywood stopped asking, "Who are you?" and started asking, "When are you available?" From there, Katt went on a serious run of major commercial films. Norbit brought in over $159 million worldwide. First Sunday opened at number 2 at the North American box office. Then came Epic Movie and Scary Movie 5. The quality of those films was debated, sure, but one thing stayed consistent. Katt Williams was always the most unforgettable part. He didn't need to be the lead. He didn't need long screen time. Give him a few minutes and he took over the entire energy of the movie. But the role that pushed Katt past live-action limits came through animation. A pimp named Slickback on the Boondocks wasn't just voice acting. It became a mean machine, quoted, replayed, and shared for nearly 2 decades. No face on screen, just a voice so powerful it became impossible to replace. When many people assumed Katt had faded out of Hollywood, he came back the hard way, through pure artistic credibility. No hype, no chaos, just undeniable skill. His guest appearance on Atlanta earned him a Primetime Emmy Award for Guest Actor in a Comedy Series. No scandal attached, no loud rollout, just a cold confirmation that Katt Williams was never some lucky comedian. He kept his presence steady with roles on The Last OG and Blackish, always visible but never dependent. Hollywood gave Katt exposure, but the real money and real power always came straight from the stage.
After decades of dominating stand-up and stacking film roles, the real question hits hard. How much money has Katt Williams actually made? In 2025, Google throws out a number, around $20 million, and almost every search result echoes the same figure. But does that make sense for a comedian with over 2 decades on stage, countless sold-out tours, and multiple specials across Netflix, HBO, and Comedy Central? That number feels weak. Even Katt Williams wasn't buying it. He was the first one to challenge it publicly. In January 2024, Katt sat down across from Shannon Sharpe on Club Shay Shay. The conversation ran nearly 3 hours, and within days, it blew up across the internet. Tens of millions of views poured in fast. And in that interview, Katt didn't just talk about comedy. He opened doors people weren't ready to walk through. He went straight at the money question, no hesitation. Katt smirked at those net worth numbers online and said it plainly, "I'm worth way more than what the internet says." No dancing around it. And he didn't stop there. He revealed that he turned down $50 million deals not once, not twice, but 4 separate times. Not because he couldn't use the money, but because he refused to lose control or independence. That made people pause immediately. The math didn't add up. If his public net worth sits around $20 million, how does someone casually walk away from multiple $50 million offers? If one Netflix special can bring in close to $10 million, then it's obvious Google isn't telling the full story. But one moment pushed Katt from viral to seismic. His comments about power abuse and industry gatekeepers hit at the same time real-world situations were being exposed elsewhere. That timing lit up social media fast. Suddenly, people started calling Katt Williams a prophet, not as a joke, but as someone who always seems one step ahead of the curve. The media stopped seeing him as just a comedian. He became a figure, someone impossible to ignore, a man willing to speak, willing to refuse massive money, and willing to stand alone. From that point forward, Katt Williams' net worth stopped being just about dollars. It became about power, independence, and how one man can stand outside the Hollywood system while still living very large inside it. And even if the numbers stay debatable, one thing is clear: what Katt Williams owns cannot be denied. But real assets never lie. Numbers can be debated, but property tells the truth. And now it's time to step inside the luxury world of Katt Williams' million-dollar real estate portfolio. One of the biggest flexes, a nearly $5 million mansion in Calabasas. This wasn't just a house, it was a statement. At one point, Katt lived deep inside one of the most elite enclaves in the country, a neighborhood reserved for Hollywood's top tier. In Calabasas, every home is a status symbol, and Katt's property fit right in. Valued at roughly $4.6 million, the estate sat on over an acre of land. Big space, no shortcuts, nothing modest about it. The neighbors, heavy hitters, names like the Kardashians, plus NBA and NFL stars. That's the level of company he was keeping. The mansion offered between 6,000 and 7,000 square feet of living space, wrapped in an elegant Mediterranean design. Soaring ceilings, grand archways, a natural stone exterior that made the place feel more like a private resort than a regular home. One step inside, and the scale hits instantly. An open layout built for movement and light. An open-height living room with massive windows flooding the space with California sunshine. The kitchen, high-end and fully loaded. A large center island, custom wood cabinetry, premium stainless steel appliances made for serious hosting. A formal dining room designed for big gatherings. Pure Hollywood energy. But the real reveal was out back. A resort-style swimming pool surrounded by lounge chairs. A private basketball court. Rare air. The kind of feature usually reserved for professional athletes. This wasn't survival anymore. This was ownership. The backyard told another story too. Wide open, fully shielded from neighbors, built for privacy. Wealthy, but discreet. That space perfectly matched Katt's mindset at the time, but that glow didn't last forever. In 2010, the Calabasas mansion was foreclosed due to financial and legal complications. What once stood as a symbol of victory suddenly became a hard reminder of what happens when life moves too fast and too large. Calabasas wasn't just a house he lost. It marked the end of an explosive era, a place where Katt touched the peak and learned one of the most expensive lessons of his life about money and control. After stepping away from Hollywood's constant spotlight, Katt Williams made a quiet move. He relocated to Georgia, choosing peace over attention. His current home is reportedly in Lawrenceville, Georgia, a calm suburban area far from paparazzi and noise. No chaos, no cameras waiting outside. The home itself is modest. The design is minimal, practical. Everything about it signals a man who still has wealth, but uses it smarter now. Inside is a modern kitchen with stone countertops, clean monochrome tones, wood cabinetry, stainless steel appliances without excess. The living space feels warm and grounded. Lower ceilings, built for living, not performing. Outside, a simple paved garden area, smaller than Calabasas, but quiet and private. No giant pool, no basketball court, just silence. Something Hollywood can't sell at any price. If Calabasas was the home of a man trying to prove he made it, Georgia is the home of a man who no longer needs to prove anything. But real estate is only the foundation, because Katt Williams doesn't stop spending money at the front door. His most shocking assets aren't locked in a vault, they're rolling down the street. And that's when the doors open to one of the wildest garages Hollywood has ever seen. If most celebrity garages are just places to park cars, Katt Williams' garage is a full-blown statement. This isn't about luxury, it's about attitude. The most jaw-dropping ride in his collection, the Apocalypse 6x6 Hellfire truck. Often described as an end-of-the-world machine, it looks more like military hardware than anything built for civilian streets. The price tag? Close to $200,000. This truck is built for extreme terrain, combat-style design, a vehicle made for scenarios where rules don't exist anymore. And Katt's version goes even further, fully customized with a Joker-inspired color scheme, cold army green mixed with rebellious purple accents. Inside, a completely custom purple leather interior. This isn't a daily commuter. It's a message, a rolling declaration that says, if the world falls apart, I don't need permission to survive. Now, flip the mood completely. Sitting on the opposite end of the spectrum is Katt's purple Polaris slingshot, a three-wheeled machine that lives somewhere between a motorcycle and a sports car, valued at around $50,000. No doors, no roof. The driver is fully exposed to the street, loud, flashy, unfiltered, just like Katt himself.
The Polaris Slingshot seats 2 adults and comes loaded with a turbocharged 2.0-liter 4-cylinder engine. The fastest versions can hit 0 to 60 in under 5 seconds, with a top speed electronically capped at 125 miles per hour. This isn't a vehicle built for comfort or safety, it's built to be noticed. Driving a Slingshot through Los Angeles means accepting the spotlight, being seen, being judged, being talked about, and that's exactly how Katt Williams likes it. Also sitting in the collection is the Plymouth Prowler, a strange retro ride from the late 1990s that was once labeled too weird for the mainstream. Exposed front wheels, a body that looks like it escaped from a science fiction movie, valued between $40,000 and $60,000. Under the hood sits a 3.5-liter V6, not overly aggressive with about 214 horsepower, but that's not the point. For Katt, it fits perfectly. He doesn't chase mass approval, he moves true to himself. Then comes classic luxury, the Rolls-Royce Dawn, a car built for those who don't whisper success, they show it. Priced at over $350,000, hand-stitched leather, a ride so smooth the engine practically disappears. When debates about who's richest start flying, Katt doesn't argue, he lets the car speak. And one of the loudest statements in the garage, the Lamborghini Huracan, a 2-seat supercar engineered for pure adrenaline, sharp lines, explosive performance, built for speed, precision, and presence. This isn't a random collection, it's a reflection of identity. This is also the very Lamborghini Huracan Katt Williams famously lost in a high-stakes moment with Beanie Siegel, a roaring V10 engine mounted right behind the driver's seat, pure chaos in mechanical form. The Huracan delivers lightning-fast acceleration and a top speed so extreme that even someone as fearless as Katt had to respect it. This wasn't a toy, it was a machine that demanded attention and control. Then comes a completely different kind of power. Enter the Rolls-Royce Spectre, the first fully electric Rolls-Royce ever built, valued at roughly $400,000. No engine noise, no exhaust, no theatrics, just silence and authority. The Spectre isn't designed for the newly rich, it's built for people who moved past the need to prove anything. Quiet confidence, controlled energy. Altogether, the estimated value of Katt Williams' garage sits around $1.2 million, but the number doesn't matter. What matters is intent. Not one vehicle was chosen to copy anyone else. Each one reflects how Katt moves through the world on his own terms. And if cars define how Katt travels, jewelry and style define how he enters a room and controls the air inside it. For Katt, luxury isn't about flashing money. It's a language, one that says, I'm here, I'm independent, and I don't need permission. Around his neck, heavy diamond chains blazing under stage lights, not subtle, not polite, Solid blocks of light, often valued around $250,000, cut sharp, built to dominate the room. With every step he takes, the light fractures and explodes. These pieces don't just reflect the spotlight, they reflect status. On his hands, Katt Williams makes zero effort to hide his obsession with oversized diamonds, thick statement rings, heavy settings, stones pushing close to 10 carats, sitting on his fingers like miniature crowns. These aren't delicate accessories meant to stay quiet. This jewelry is designed to be impossible to ignore. When it comes to time, Katt wears it his way. A gold Rolex day date, the classic symbol of old school power. A clear message from someone who's been at the table for a long time. Then there's the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Offshore. Aggressive, industrial, athletic, built like armor. A perfect match for how Katt moves through the entertainment industry without bending. And right beside it, a custom diamond-encrusted Hublot Big Bang. Loud, modern, unapologetic, zero restraint. Each watch sends a different signal, but they all say the same thing. Time belongs to me. Fashion, just as dangerous. Katt favors Gucci suits stitched with bold Baroque patterns, tailored tight, each piece costing thousands. Then come the silk Versace shirts, smooth, glossy, and loud. Clothing not designed for anyone trying to blend in. And on his feet, Christian Louboutin shoes with the signature red soles, pairs ranging from $1,500 to $2,500, sharp, clean, as cutting as his punchlines on stage. This isn't fashion for approval, this is fashion as dominance. And then there's the smallest but most iconic detail of all, the fedora. Not something grabbed off a random rack. These are custom-made hats, each carefully crafted and priced between $400 and $1,000, a personal signature. Sometimes all it takes is the angled shadow of that fedora. People don't need an introduction. They already know Katt Williams has entered the room. Taken together, these choices don't just form a style, they create a unified image, luxurious, uncompromising, unapologetic. Katt Williams doesn't dress to look rich, he dresses to remind the world that real wealth is freedom, the freedom to be yourself, unedited, unapproved, and unbounded. But luxury has never been the full story. Running parallel to the stage lights, the money and the laughter is something darker. A long trail of controversy, persistent, loud, unforgiving. Katt Williams doesn't just bump into trouble, he lives alongside it. Financial and legal battles have followed him like a shadow next to the spotlight. And then came the number that stopped people cold. $59 million gone, a cut from the inside. In 2019, Katt stunned the public by revealing he had lost roughly $59 million to embezzlement. According to Katt, people he trusted, managers, handlers, close associates, took advantage of loose financial oversight. Money siphoned, assets moved, a massive fortune quietly drained over years. What shocked people wasn't just the size of the loss, it was who did it. But one question refuses to disappear. If Katt Williams was only worth $20 million like the internet keeps claiming, then where did that $59 million even come from? No massive civil lawsuit ever played out in public, no courtroom showdown, no clean ruling separating right from wrong. The situation stayed suspended in uncertainty, real enough to be scary, but vague enough that nobody truly knows what happened. From that moment on, Katt became openly distrustful of the system, distrustful of management. He started handling his money far more guarded, locked down way. But the chaos didn't start there. Long before that revelation, Katt had already spent nearly a decade tangled in exhausting, headline-grabbing controversies. It kicked off in November 2006 with an arrest at the airport. Katt was taken into custody at LAX when security discovered a firearm in his bag. The timing made it explosive. His career was climbing fast, and suddenly his name was everywhere for the wrong reasons. Just 1 month later, Katt entered a non-coast plea for carrying a concealed weapon illegally. He was sentenced to 3 years of probation and a short jail stay. That moment changed public perception. People stopped seeing him as just a comedian and started labeling him unstable. And the arrest didn't slow down.
Between 2010 and 2013, the headlines kept coming. In 2010, while filming on location in Georgia, Katt was accused of burglary and theft involving coins and jewelry valued around $3,500. The spotlight never dimmed, but the pressure kept tightening. He was arrested and later released on a $40,000 bond, but that was far from the end. In 2011, Katt Williams was arrested again, this time tied to allegations involving threats connected to an altercation around his entourage. The charge sounded serious and grabbed headlines fast, but it never resulted in a long-term prison sentence. Then 2012 hit like a storm. During tourist stops in Oakland and Seattle, Katt was arrested following an incident involving an 18-year-old, where it was alleged a glass bottle was used during a heated moment. The situation escalated quickly, and the headlines followed just as fast. Days later, another arrest, this time after a bar fight in Seattle. The pressure kept stacking. Later that same year in California, Katt was arrested again after attempting to flee police on a three-wheeled vehicle. Then came the crisis point. In 2012, Katt Williams faced allegations related to child endangerment, which led to his adopted children being placed into temporary protective custody. The media went nuclear. Many believed this was the final blow to his career. But once again, the case collapsed. The allegations could not be substantiated. Evidence was insufficient. No conviction followed. Still, the damage to his image lingered long after. In the years that followed, the incidents didn't stop. They just became smaller and relentless. Arrests tied to altercations with a pool store employee, claims involving a disagreement at a youth sporting event, a thrown salt shaker during a restaurant dispute, hotel fights, property damage. Each incident followed by surrender, headlines, and another chapter added to the storm that never seemed to leave. This wasn't chaos for clicks. This was a man living under constant pressure. None of these incidents alone was enough to end him, but together they painted the picture of a man constantly living on the edge. What separates Katt Williams from so many fallen stars is simple. After every arrest, he went right back to the stage. After every attempt to bury him, the tour sold out again. No image cleanups, no scripted apologies, no redemption tours designed to win sympathy. Just a man walking on stage, grabbing the microphone and saying it without saying it. I'm still here. For Katt Williams, controversy isn't an ending, it's part of the package. Chaotic, difficult, unpredictable, but impossible to erase. And that's exactly why, love him or hate him, no one can ignore the name Katt Williams. But there's something the public often forgets. Behind the razor-sharp punchlines, behind the non-stop headlines, behind a life lived completely outside the norm, there's something deeper. Katt Williams is a father first, long before comedian, long before celebrity. Behind the laughter is responsibility. Behind the stage is family. As of 2025, Katt Williams is single. No marriage, no public partner, no relationship splashed across headlines anymore. And to understand why Katt chooses to live alone at this point in his life, you have to look back at his romantic history. Complicated, painful, and filled with consequences that still echo today. Marriages couldn't contain the chaos. Katt Williams' first wife was Quadira Locust, a relationship rooted in the earliest days of his stand-up journey. This was before the money, before the fame, before the madness. When life was unstable and the future uncertain, Quadira stood beside him. Together, they share one biological child, Micah Williams Jr. Many describe Quadira as the woman who believed in Katt before anyone else did. But as his career exploded, the pressure became unbearable. Non-stop touring, constant movement, and a personality that refused to slow down. The marriage couldn't survive the pace. After that came a relationship with Ebony Gray, a chapter wrapped in controversy. Court documents were filed seeking an annulment, with claims questioning Katt's mental fitness and requesting financial support. Katt denied every claim, including that a legal marriage ever existed. The case never reached a clear resolution, but once again, his private life became public ammunition. Then came Hazel E., a reality television star, marking Katt's most visible relationship of the 2010s. They appeared together often, cameras followed, headlines chased, but just as fast as it began, it ended. Hazel E. announced the breakup publicly. Katt, true to form, said nothing. What do all these relationships have in common?
None of them could survive the speed of Katt Williams, a man powered by the stage, fueled by controversy, driven by absolute freedom. That's not an easy path to walk beside. And then there's the part few talk about, fatherhood. Katt Williams is the father of 10 children, many adopted, all taken in with intention. His romantic life may be marked by collapse, but his legacy runs deeper than headlines. His role as a father tells a completely different story. Katt Williams is the father of 10 children, 1 biological and 9 adopted, and that decision was never about image or public praise. In multiple interviews, Katt has said it clearly, "I grew up with nobody protecting me. If I made it out, I have a responsibility to pull someone else out." That mindset shaped everything. Many of his adopted children came from backgrounds marked by abandonment, poverty, or lack of direction, lives that closely reflected Katt's own childhood struggles. Raising that many children brought serious pressure, financial strain, legal stress, and during periods when Katt was dealing with legal trouble, some of the children were placed into temporary protective care. The media focused on those moments hard, but the truth never changed. Katt Williams never walked away from being a father, never. He once said, "If I succeed and don't help anybody else, then that's not success," and he lived by that. For Katt, family isn't something to show off, it's something he protects quietly. And now, in 2025, while many comedians from his generation have faded out or settled into safe background roles, Katt Williams is still standing. No apologies, no rebranding to please anyone, no disappearing act. But even as he continues forward, tragedy isn't far behind. In 2025, heartbreak struck close to Katt's comedy tour. A fellow comedian, Reggie Carroll, who had toured alongside Katt on the Heaven on Earth tour, was shot and killed in Mississippi. A reminder that even while standing strong, danger and loss still walk nearby. Police later identified the suspect as a security guard connected to the tour. The news stunned the comedy world and hit fans hard. What was supposed to be laughter and movement turned into grief overnight. Later that same year, Katt Williams appeared on the IMO podcast, hosted by Michelle Obama and Craig Robinson, and the tone shifted completely. In that conversation, Katt opened up with rare honesty. He spoke about childhood pain, about walking away from home at a young age, about choosing to raise 10 children, many of whom were not biological of his. It wasn't a performance, it was reflection, a deeply human moment that revealed Katt not just as a comedian, but as a man carrying responsibility, loss, and grief alongside success. Then came the next chapter. After the massive success of the Heaven on Earth tour in 2025, Katt Williams officially announced the Golden Age tour for 2026, more than 25 major cities across North America. The announcement confirmed what many already knew. Katt's pull is still massive. He's not a comedian of the past, he's a draw right now. Arena venues, major markets, ticket prices, and attendance ranking among the highest in comedy today. From a man who once slept on park benches, who faced arrest after arrest, who was written off, who lost tens of millions of dollars, yet somehow was never erased. This isn't a comeback story, this is endurance. This is Katt Williams. Katt Williams does not live to be liked, he lives to stay uncontrolled. And that may be the very reason his name still echoes so loud. Love him or hate him, when the lights hit and the room goes quiet, your eyes still turn towards Katt Williams. He was written off, counted out, dragged through chaos, and yet he's still standing. This wasn't a story about perfection. This was a story about survival, power, and refusing to disappear. So here's the real question. Do you still respect Katt Williams? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you want more deep dives into cultural legends, make sure you like, subscribe, share, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss what's next.